Yes! My roommate's dryer just finished, so we can start the video. Today's video is going to be 5 tips on things I wish I knew how to do when I first started editing. These tips, some of them I just learned maybe 2 weeks ago, and they have substantially increased my flow, my work, and my editing quality. So let's get to the tutorial, let's run the intro, and please don't forget to subscribe so I can make more content for you guys. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, and let's go. So let's open up Premiere Pro and click on the new project file. Name it whatever you want. I'll just put it tut as tutorial. And I use an external hard drive to speed up my editing. It's a SSD. It edits around 400 megabytes per second, so it's much faster than the internal hard drive on my computer. Just in case if you didn't know that you could do that, that's something you can do. Now the Premiere Pro is open. I just dragged and dropped my video file into the timeline, and let's cut this long video up into pieces so we can consider it into like multiple clips. We'll just give it a few cuts. To get the cutting tool, just press C and it cuts, and then press V to move things around. Now, one of the most difficult things that I had in the beginning when I was starting is I didn't know how to copy and paste videos. Like if I wanted this video here, well, how do I copy and paste that? Well, there's a very easy option. If you hold Option, just hold Option on a command on a Mac computer and drag this, boom, you just copied it. So that's the first tip. Just hold Option, click and drag. Now you have another one. You can hold Option again, click and drag. Now you have another one. Now you can keep doing this and you have like 5. So let's delete all these things. So that was tip number 1. Tip number 2. If you want to edit audio and video, but they're kind of connected together, but you still want the audio. Well, this one's probably one of the most useful tips that I can give you, is press Command L. Now you just separated the audio from the video, which is so useful, especially if you just want to cut the video and not mess with the audio. You just want to have the audio fine, but you don't want to mess with. Now, if you want to relink them together, you can relink as many things as you want. You just click this one, you hold Shift, you click this one. Now both of these are highlighted. And then you press Command L. Now they're both back connected together. So if you move this one, that one's going to move too. See? So let's go over that again. So tip number 2 is very simple. When you have a clip or multiple clips and the audio is connected to the video, you can unconnect the audio from the video, which can be so useful, especially for J-cuts or any trimming, especially if you're doing for the music file. Now you can move it around and not have to worry about the audio. So that's one of the most important tips that I didn't know about until about half a year ago, and I've been using it all the time. So let's go into a little bit more in depth. So let's say if you had, link these. Let's bring these here. 1, 2. So let's say you have sound effects and you want to move the clip. Well, how are you going to do that? Let's say this one is a sound effect of a car, this one's sound effect of a rain, this one's sound effect of crying, and they're all connected to this clip. Well, if you move this clip, all your sound effects are gone and you have to move them one by one. Well, not really. You hold this, connect Shift. Now you selected all of them with holding the Shift key and clicking. Then you press Command L. Now all of them are connected together, so you can move them together. How cool is that? I bet you did not know that. And if you did know that, I bet you use it all the time. Let's put all these things back and go to tip number 3. Tell this clip is already edited and color graded. But how do you edit all of them? For instance, all of this is one clip, but I cut them into many pieces. One piece here, one piece here, one piece here, for the sake of example. If you are doing a very complex edit for a music video, for a wedding, what you're probably thinking of doing is, let's go to the color tab. You're probably thinking of, okay, I want to make this a little darker, a little brighter. Let's say brighter. I want to make it brighter. But then now you have to make all of them bright. because they don't match, right? Well, let me tell you. Right up here, it says cheap lights for YouTube. Each video clip has a master and a normal. So if you just Command C, Lumetri color, and Command V it here, all the rest of the clips will automatically be batch color graded. So let me explain that again if you didn't understand. Let's start all the way over again. So tip number 3 is very simple. It's basically batch color grading. If you want to make this bright, but you don't want to do it to all of the cut clips, because now this one's brighter and this one's darker, all you have to do is press Command C. You're in this tab right here. It says cheap lights. You go to the master file. Command V. Now every single one has the same attributes, and you don't have to worry about Command C and copying, pasting Lumetri color to all of them. This saves so much time. Like, oh my god, it's like such a gift. I hope you use it. Don't forget these. Write them down on a piece of paper, because it's crazy, like so crazy. Rewind that if I went too fast, I'm sorry. Let's go to tip number 4. Tip number 4. This one is, you don't want to delete this clip and then now you have to delete this. Then you have this gap here. You have a gap. This gets kind of tiring because you press the gap and you have to press delete. That adds up so much, especially if you are doing a long project. If you select this clip, if you select these two, hold Option and press delete, it automatically deletes the gap too. This happens very rarely. It doesn't happen too often, but you're gonna have sometimes, because you don't put the gap all the way close, you're gonna have one frame that's black. And so you exported this long file, especially if you have a slow computer, and now you notice that in the middle of your video editing, you have a black frame. You have to delete that whole file, go back all the way, delete that little black gap, and then it comes back together. Tip number 5. So you probably make text on your video all the time, and you probably don't center it exactly. And that's totally fair, because I didn't know how to do that either. I would just move the position until it looked even, right? Well, that's not right. You go to Window up here, then you go down to Essential Graphics, and you go all the way to Edit, and now you have this panel here that says Align and Transform. You just press this and that, and your text is perfectly centered. You're welcome. And I know that probably bugged you so much. Rewatch those tips if you're a beginner, because you tend to forget them. I would even recommend getting a piece of paper or a sticky note, writing those shortcuts down, because once it becomes a habitual practice, you will be a better editor. Your workflow will go much faster, and you will feel more comfortable with the interface. Just put that sticky note right here on your computer or on your desk and use them. Use them all the time, because they're so useful, and the cleaner and faster you work, the better and more clear you can perceive your edits. Again, thank you so much for being here, and please subscribe and click that notification bell. I would really appreciate it. If you want any other tips and tricks, just leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try to make a video on it if there's enough demand or comments. But I appreciate your time. Have a good day, stay safe, and come again next time. Peace.